Yo, so guys, Stans here, back with another video. So this is gonna be best settings for Fortnite. Of course, some of these settings are adjustable to your likings, so feel free to change anything you want. So let's begin. So first thing, go in your settings. Make sure you're on full screen. Resolution should match whatever you're using. VSync is off. Frame rate limit, make sure that matches your refresh rate of your monitor. In my case, 360. Rendering mode, you wanna keep that on performance for the best FPS and delay. Brightness, make sure that's on 100, don't touch that. User interface, default 1. Color blinds, personal choice. If you want, you can use that. I don't recommend going over 5 on strength. 3D resolution, I usually play on 85 or 95. If you go too low of a resolution, like anything under maybe 1550 or 1650, it will look super blurry if you go under 85. So if you're playing on like anything super low end of resolution, I'll recommend you going maybe like 90 or 95. Don't go 100. Like 95 and 100, there's barely any difference, but you're getting a boost from using a lower percentage. So if you want my settings, 85 is what I use with 1650. 85 will also look the best with all the resolutions except maybe the lower end ones. But feel free to experiment with this. Don't go too low, otherwise you're gonna lose vision on distance. But yeah, view distance, you want this on far. If you don't really care about performance, you can go epic as well. But far is probably the best option here. If you got a super low end CPU, you wanna go with near, so you don't put too much stress on your CPU. But personally, I'll go far so I can see in the distance. Textures, keep that on low. If you want to put more load to your GPU, just go maybe medium or high. Don't go epic. For the sake of the video, I'll keep it low. Now, meshes, low and high are similar in FPS wise. Maybe the difference is like 2 or 3 FPS. The difference mainly is on high, you can see through builds more clear. So for example, if you're holding an edit on a WoW or like a ramp, you can see a little bit more through it. So that's really good if you play like competitive or like especially like if you build a lot. But if you want the best performance, like as I said, 3 FPS difference, just keep it on low. Not really huge difference. And yeah, I usually switch between high and low a lot, but for right now I'm on low, but usually I play on high as well. Now, show FPS. If you have a low CPU, I would not recommend having your FPS show on the top right corner, because if it's not stable and the value on the right is moving a lot, you're actually making your CPU or like your system render like the text. Even if it's a text and it does not really do anything, it's still rendering the numbers. So every time the number change, it affects the performance. Similar to if I swing the pickaxe right now, you can see it's like doing an effect. Same thing, it's pretty much rendering that. So usually you want that off. I'll keep it on for the video. Report performance stats, you want that on disabled. Then on sound settings, go up. So you want music disabled, dialogue disabled. Voice chat, if you use voice chat in game, just put it whatever you want. I don't use voice chat in game, I usually speak through Discord, so I don't use that. Cinematics, make sure that's on 0. Picture in picture, make that on 0. Sound quality, if you have a decent headset and you wanna hear the audio more crispy, just keep it on high, otherwise on low. This will also affect your performance, meaning that if you go low, you get like better latency to the audio. But other than that, not really huge difference between low and high. I'll personally keep it on high. Background audio, make sure that's disabled. Subtitles, make sure everything is off. Extra small, white, non, clear. Then go down. Visualize sound effects, make sure that's enabled. It will give you kind of like a wow hack, so you can see where people are coming from like maybe 20 meters distance. Audio output does not matter, just put it on your headset. Voice chat, as I said, I don't use voice chat, so off. Voice reporting, off. Voice chat method, mute. Voice chat, default. Voice chat notification, make sure that's off. Listens audio, if you're streaming, I'll say mute, but I don't really care, so I just keep it on play. Now, on your main setting, matchmaking, make sure it's on Europe. Language does not matter. To go sprint, off. Here is personal choice. Personal choice again. Reset building choices. Personal choice again. Disable preedit options. So if you don't use predits, you can keep that on. But if you keep it on off, even if you don't use predicted options, if you don't use predits, I mean, this will still make you be able to take edits from further distance. So for example, if you're doing double edits or triple edits, this will help you catching the wow and the cone from like far away. So I will recommend keeping that on off. If you're messing a lot with your edits and you do like pre-edits a lot while editing super fast, then I'll keep that on. But otherwise, keep it off for like the boost of like range. Turbo building on after curve edits. If you cannot edit normally fast, I recommend using bot or just edit, so it's easier for you to edit faster. But usually none is the best. Of course, if you can edit fast with that. Contextual tips, make sure that's off. Invert view off. Peripheral lighting, NVIDIA highlights off. FOV minimum and maximum does not really do anything, so I just keep it maximum. Or record replace, make sure that's off, every of them. You don't want to record replace. Unless you have really good PC and you're doing like scrims or playing tournaments and you want to like watch your replay to like learn from mistakes, then I'll probably enable that. But if you care about performance, don't use any replays. Then energy saving, make sure both of them are disabled. Then all the way on top, you have reticle, which is on, of course. Reticle communicator, on, of course. Damage numbers, you can pick between list or common gift. I like this one. Reticle damage feedbacks, off will get you a little bit FPS, like 1 or 2 FPS more, since it's not rendering the icons as well. As I said, similar to the FPS counter, it's rendering the animation. So if you have low-end CPU, keep it on off, otherwise hidden icons. Damage number and HUD scale is personal preference. I prefer lower HUD scale so I can see more of my screen from left and right. Show spectator count. If you don't care about who's spectating you, disable that. It's similar to the FPS counter, it's just rendering the icon, the eye icon, so you don't really want that. Quest debug, I keep that off. Net debug stats, similar to the FPS counter. You enabling that makes it render, so you want to remove that. Latency debug state, also remove that. Then everything else you can just copy if you wanna see how that. Then gear options, I don't use that. Keyboard and mouse settings, I'm using 8.2 on bot and 50.1 on targeting on 800 DPI. Now, if you're playing competitive or wanna go pro or like want the best sensitivity, for 800 DPI, you usually wanna play between 7 and 9% on X and Y. If you're playing on 16,000 DPI, you want this divided by 2. So in my case, it's gonna be like 4.1 on bot if I play on 16,000 DPI. But I play on 800, so that's my value. Again, this is personal choice. You don't have to copy anything over here. It's just personal choice. Now, for building and editing, don't touch this value. Again, if you go higher, it will maybe help you catch your edits faster, but it will mess up your mouse sensitivity. So your aim is gonna be super dog shit if you messes with these settings. So keep that on default and never touch these two settings. Now for double movement, again, personal choice. I prefer this movement. It's similar, I think, to Mongra. I'm not really sure if that's the exact values, but this is what I like. So it's personal choice. You're not forced to use this. You can use someone else. It's just what I use. Then for keybinds, I'm not gonna show keybinds. So force walk and force walk to go and hold. Make sure both are unbind. Then look for contextual. It should be a little bit down. Switch quick bar, I mean. So switch quick bar, make sure you click the X. Then on second bind, put a keybind that you don't use in game or ever press. In my case, I don't press the arrow. So what this is gonna do, it's gonna make your edits faster. I don't know how, but it fixes the bugs that's within like the system of Fortnite, and it eventually helps with edits. Everything else I'm not touching. Then over here, I don't use controller, so everything is default on these settings. Then over here, you want player survey disabled. Filter mature language, you can keep that off. Everything here is, again, preference. Preference again. The only thing that I will recommend is hide name learning regular gameplay and hide other players name learning regular gaming. As I mentioned in my WAS video, this also affects the performance. So technically similar to the FPS counter and the ping, it makes your CPU does not render the names. So therefore you get boost. And also, as I mentioned in the WAS video, some people use symbols in their names, and technically one symbol, it's like few letters in one. So let's say he has a cross symbol, that's like maybe 10 or 15 letters together if you put it on letters, right? Convert it, I mean. So this will definitely help with performance. So keep bot on 0. I mean on. Then hidden matchmaking on 0, and everything else is default. And as you see, I'm stable 360 with the settings. So now if you are on super high-end system, let's say I'm on 360 Hz right now, right? But my PC is able to hold over 360 stable, then you can use RTSS to cap your FPS above your refresh rate. So for example, since I have a 360 Hz and my FPS right now it's super stable over 360, I'll probably use RTSS and cap it to maybe 400 or 500 and keep the frame rate in Fortnite itself on unlimited. This way I'll get the latency boost from using higher FPS, but also not stress the PC that much since it's not going over the FPS that I will work with RTSS. Otherwise, if you don't have stable FPS, just go to whatever you're knowing you're stable. Now, some people also have, let's say, I have 360 Hz monitor, right? But my FPS is not stable 360. Then I will go one under that or go to the FPS that's stable. So just because you have maybe 240 Hz or 165 Hz monitor does not mean you have to walk that specific Hz. I mean, that specific FPS. If you're not holding it stable, then there's no difference if you look like the value that you're able to hold stable or the value that you're not able to. So just walk whatever FPS is stable, and if you don't match your refresh rate, then just stay on that FPS. If you can match your FPS stable, like 240 or whatever your Hertz monitor is, and you can walk the same FPS without it moving too much, then you're fine, but otherwise keep it on whatever is stable for you. So now, another thing for FPS is skins. You have presets over here down. I would personally not recommend using presets. Keep it on all empty. Same goes for emotes. Don't use really emotes. Just put one maybe. Wraps, don't use wraps. Wobby screen, everything pretty much is like removed. I don't really like all of that. And it also affects performance as well. Now, for gliders, same way. The gliders, for example, this one, as you can see, there's water and there's animation. This will drop your FPS and latency. So you want something that does not have effects, pretty much straightforward. Like, you want something that does not move. So in my case, the default glider is the best. Same go for pickaxe. Pickaxe that have effects are bad for your FPS and latency. So you want something that's not moving, for example, the icebreaker. Same goes for skin. Skins that have effects, you don't want that. For example, skin with effects, this one. Actually, I don't have the stuff for it. This one. You can see his hair has animation. You don't want to play with skins like that. So you want skins that do not have any animations. For example, this one. This one. This one. See, all of them have no animations. Also, if a skin does not have animation, but has like, for example, you can see the pants of this character. Whenever you jump, they will move. That's also animation. Same goes with the hair. If you run or move, the hair is gonna move. For example, the Lara Croft. Whenever you jump, her hair in the back is gonna move up and down. That's also animation. So you technically want a skin that have zero animation. That's why some people use default skins, since they don't have anything. But something like that does not have any animation from hair or like body or like eyes or glowing effects is probably your best bet. So apply one of this and you're good to go, pretty much. Now for Epic Launcher, let me just change to display. Game capture. Okay, very good. Let me just stretch that. Okay. So Epic Launcher, make sure you go in library and make sure it's only installed only, so you don't see the other stuff in the back and you don't have to render them. Then go on settings, make sure everything is unchecked. You don't really know that. Additional command line arguments, they don't even work anymore. It's outplacable FX. The only one that works still is the one that you can skip the intro Fortnite launching. But again, it's useless in my opinion. Now, over here, the only thing I will enable, it's throttle downloads and make sure it's on 0. This will make sure that whenever you're downloading a game from Epic Games or an update, it's gonna go to your maximum potential speeds of your internet. So if there's an update, just enable that, otherwise untick. And that's about pretty much everything. I mean, Discord, you can go on Discord settings, go on game overlay, smile, never, only while speaking, disable overlay, Hicks. Register games, make sure the Fortnite or whatever game you're playing, it's hidden. Activity privacy disabled. Advanced hardware acceleration, make sure that's disabled. This option also exists in your browsers. So if you have a browser, go your system settings and then hardware acceleration, make sure that's disabled. Then another thing you can do is go on voice and video, disable everything in voice and video. And then the most important setting is debug logging, make sure that's disabled as well. And you're good to go. Now, if you want the config file that I'm using fully, you can go in my Discord group, which is gonna be in the description. Then just go on game user settings and you have your game user settings fully already set up. You might still have to do some of the settings over here that are in the tabs, which are applied generally to your account and not in the game user. So just double check if you use the game user settings that everything here matches with the video. And you're good to go pretty much. So yeah, peace.